All right, so the essay that we're going to do is over Mask of the Red Death. Notice that Mask of the Red Death is in quotation marks. It needs to be that way in your essay because that is how you punctuate Mask of the Red Death, and you want to make sure you don't lose points for that. The prompt is discuss how Poe uses literary devices to develop his theme. You're required to use these 3 devices: symbols, characterization, and tone or mood. You get to choose which one you want, tone or mood. I am recommending tone. Okay, it's easier because it's what I've gone over more of. Okay, but if you feel comfortable with mood, you can do mood. All right, so the question is, how do you do it? Now, I've talked to the freshman and sophomore teachers. They told me that you have done this multiple times last year and that you know how to write an essay. So this is just review. Okay, I will upload this immediately to the YouTube channel so that if you don't remember how to write an essay, you can go and scroll back to this screen, okay, or the next screen, depending on what it is you're struggling with, to look at it. I can't keep it up there because the stuff is on separate screens, and I'll spend all my time running back up here and going back and forth instead of answering questions, and I have to be able to answer questions for students, okay? So that's why I'll upload it, and you can just go to the channel and check. All right, in your introduction, this is what you're going to have. Okay? You're going to have the name of the author, Edgar Allan Poe. Okay, it's the front page of your story. You're going to have the name of your short story, okay, Mask of the Red Death. You are going to write a 2 to 3 sentence summary of the story, okay? Because you don't want to summarize in the essay itself. You're going to pretend that the reader has not read the story, and so those 2 to 3 sentences are essentially, what is it about? We practice this with our reciprocal teaching lesson, okay, so you know this. Okay, it's just, what's the story about? Somewhere you're going to have the words symbol and tone or mood, whichever one you want to focus on. Again, I recommend tone. And then characterization or characteristics, depending on how you word your sentence. Okay. And then your thesis statement. Okay. A reminder for your thesis statement, it is 1 sentence. It is not a question. It's not a question. It is the last sentence of the introduction, okay? And it is not a summary of the story. Okay? In order for you to not get points taken off for your thesis statement, you have to make sure that you've done it correctly. So 1 sentence. If it's more than 1 sentence, points are off. If you make it a question, it's wrong. Okay? If it's not the last sentence, it's wrong. Okay, you'll get points taken off. Okay? If you summarize the story with it, it's actually not a thesis, so you would actually get points counted as if you didn't have it. Do not just list the elements in your thesis statement. So you will not do, this essay will discuss how the symbolism, characterization, and tone show the theme. That is not a true thesis statement. That is, here's the prompt. I've given you some examples, okay, to kind of get your mind wrapped around how it is you put what I'm asking you to do in a thesis statement. Okay. Your job is to explain or to analyze how Poe is using these elements, showing these elements. Okay. So I've used 2 different pieces of literature. A separate piece by John Knowles illustrates the destructive results caused by distrust. Okay, the destructive results caused by distrust, that's one of the themes in the story. Okay, and then what did John Knowles do? He illustrated it. Okay, notice that it doesn't list the elements in there. Okay, that's what you have somewhere in the introduction that you're going to discuss. Okay? That's how the introduction is developed. Okay. In A Worn Path, Eudora Welty creates a strong theme that criticizes how justice should belong to every citizen. I actually made that up because I haven't read that short story, so I'm not sure that's really a theme. But I needed a theme to throw in there to kind of give you an idea. So the theme is in the last part of your thesis statement. And what does she do? She creates. Okay, so you have a strong verb. Okay. At the beginning of the year, I gave you a handout, had transition words on it, and it had about 200 really strong verbs that you can use. Okay, that's why I told you not to use it, that you would need it.
So is this how we're gonna have to sit?
Body paragraph. Sentence 1 is your topic sentence. Okay. You're basically writing it just like the Devil and Tom Walker paragraph, only it's about Edgar Allan Poe. Okay. The first sentence, you're going to name the literary device you're talking about in that paragraph. So you'll have the word symbol, characterization or characteristics, and then tone or mood, depending on which one you're doing. Okay. You're going to have a strong verb. Examples are illustrate, create, show, whatever you want to use. Pull out that handout I gave you and look and choose what you want. Sentence 2, details from the story. And then sentences 3 and 4, how does this show the theme? And then you're going to repeat this pattern until you have sufficiently shown how the theme is displayed. Now, it will vary from person to person. My stronger writers may have shorter paragraphs because they have explained very well how the theme is developed, where those who are struggling may take a little bit longer because they haven't quite shown how the theme's developed. Okay? And then your conclusion is to restate the theme and then restate the elements that are used by Poe.